All right, we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the comic book community. My name is Chris, and this is my channel. We love comics, and yes, as you see in the title of this video, I will be cracking open my Daredevil #1, which was graded by CGC as a 0.5 grade. I will be resubmitting this with my 4 books that I send in the PGX this next coming cycle. And I'm going to crack it open live on camera, so this way you can see there's no doctoring of it. We're going to look inside, see if there's something maybe that warrants the 0.5 grade, and let's see how it goes. So before I start, I just want to make sure I let people know that this is my opinion. You don't have to agree. You may not want to do it yourself, but you know what? To each their own. If you feel a book has been undergraded and you can get it resubmitted and it comes back a higher grade, you're only helping yourself if you eventually sell them. I will sell my comic books eventually. I have no plan on doing it. I'm not one of those people that buys books just to turn around and sell them. If you do, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just not my cup of tea. I collect them because I love them. But since I can't take them to my grave, I'm not going to be keeping them forever. So eventually I will sell them. So in the meantime, I basically slab them to protect them. But I do want a fair grade. Now, like I've said in other videos, and I'm not going to harsh on this, all grading companies can make mistakes because it is based on human error and human, decisions. So the 3 people that graded this could have had a bad day. They just might not have cared. They could have all been hungover, or they could have just made a simple mistake. But we're going to find out, because if I open this book and there's pages ripped to shreds and things like that, and there's grease and stain marks all inside, well, then I could see, all right, this warranted a 0.5. I have no problem with that. But I want to check, because according to what I use, which is the CBCS website, on how they grade their grading standards, this does not fall under a 0.5. And as a matter of fact, many people agreed it looks like about a 1.8 range comic. So that's about a $400 to $500 difference. And like I said, eventually I'll sell them, just not anytime soon. So I see people coming in. This is a last-minute thing, so there was no notifications. But Gator, hello, Tina, John, Barry, welcome. Let me put on the camera, because I am going to be doing this and cracking this open live. So this way you can see everything, the process of how to crack open these new CGC cases. And you got to be careful with it. So basically you're going to need 2 things. You're going to need a flathead screwdriver, and you're going to need scissors for the inner lining. Gator says, I'll probably take mine to the grave. To each his own. There is no wrong way to collect. If you worked hard for your money and you bought something with that hard-earned money, you could basically do with it whatever you want. There are going to be people out there that are always going to criticize you, who are going to say, just because you do it differently, that you're wrong. We're not going to let other people intimidate us. So, before I crack it open, you can see nothing's been touched, but this is the book. Again, you can make, let me put the light a little closer. You can make your own judgments. I believe that this book should be graded higher than a 0.5. The only major defect is the cover is detached, but you can get up to a 3.0 with that grade. And the other part is this corner from here to up here. It's hard to do this backwards. There we go. From there all the way across is missing. So there. So it doesn't even go all the way across. It ends right there. So that's the only major defects. It has off-white to white pages. So they don't say, the only thing they say is on top that the cover is detached. So they're not saying any centerfold problems, any missing pages, any coupons cut, or anything like that. So, like I said, I'm resubmitting this with my 4 comics to PGX. There have been people saying, well, why are you doing that? Well, like I say, I slabbed these to protect them. This one I already bought graded. I paid a total of $410. So even if it comes back a 0.5, I paid under what it's worth. And let's crack it open. So you want to start with the top, because that's the easiest entry point. And you basically, let me lower the camera so you could see it. You basically want to twist and crack, but you do want to be careful because, you know, you don't want to mess up the comic. You don't want to give it a reason to really have a 0.5. And then you're going to go across, and you just do a turning motion. You want to use a small one because you don't want to have the screwdriver end up touching the comic. Because like I said, any bend is going to decrease the value. So we do want to be very careful with this. So we're going to go across the top here. And I did want to do this live, so this way people can't make any accusations. I'm going to make sure it's in front of the camera the whole time, so there's no bait and switch or anything like that. Obviously, you could see with the certain defects of this comic, unless I found a comic with the exact same problems, that part is not going to be a problem to worry about. Alright, so you can see this cracks open fairly easily. Just remember, especially if you're new to comic book collecting, once you crack this, the grade is no longer valid. So make sure, if you're going to do something like this, you know what you're doing and you're confident with it, because once you crack it, that's the end of it. Alright, so the plastic is cracking pretty easy. Alright, let me get the other side a little bit more. And also, don't forget to wait until the end, because I always do the surprise subscriber shoutouts. When the live video is on, I mean, you don't have to be a subscriber, but I hope you do, because I'm not going to bother to check. Alright, so this is going to take a little while. Let's get rid of this. So that is the original label. Let's see if I could slide this out yet. Probably not. You do want to be very careful with this. You take your time with it. I know this is a live thing, but still, I don't want to ruin the comic, so I'm going to take my time. I also have another one if I want to go down the length of the casing. Again, be very careful of the comic, because if you damage the comic, that's the end of it. Alright, so I think I could slide it out yet. Let me see. Okay. Alright, so I'm able to slide it out. And again, I'll show the back. That's the only problem with it. So now, we want to be very careful. You want to cut along the edge, and you want to make sure that you don't cut the comic, because the last thing you want is for the comic to come back trimmed. So we're going to do this very carefully. You take your time with this stuff. There's no rush. Because if you, like I said, when it comes to comics, you cut off a little piece of the corner, that's going to lower the grade significantly. Okay, so let me get this as well. So again, you take your time, do not rush. And then we're going to look inside. We're going to look at this live. And we're going to see if there's any major defects. Now, like I said, the cover is detached, and it does say that. But if you look at grades, you can get up to a 3.0 even with a detached cover. But this is not going to get a 3.0. All right, let's, to be on the safe side, let's cut this as well. And if you guys appreciate this, if any of you are kind enough to give this a like, if you share it, because if anything, this is also going to teach people how to break open. This is the newest slabs, so it might help somebody. All right, so I think I got... All right, so there we go. We are in. So let's slide this out, and we're going to take a look at it. Okay. So the first thing I notice, there is no protective lining. So remember when they used to put that acid-free piece of paper? It's not in here. So I don't know if they do that anymore, but you're seeing live. All right? They put it on page 3. Okay, so there's that piece of paper I was telling you about. So they didn't put it on the first page, but they did put it on the second. Now, this does have somebody's name written on it. That would have been awesome if it was Stan Lee. So it is detached, so let's take the cover, put that aside. So the cover's detached. So you see the pages inside look pretty good. There's no rips. Nothing. So let's... Alright, so they have a second piece of paper here near the back. But I'm going through these pages. I mean, look at this. There's nothing wrong with these pages. Because one of the things I always say is, you want to look at the whole book. I'm kind of showing it upside down, but you can see there's no coupons cut. There's no bends in the pages. There's the colors. I mean, the colors look great. Look at these panels. All right, let's find the centerfold. And let's see. I think we're coming close. All right, so the centerfold is completely attached. You can see the coupons are all there. So the centerfold is attached. Look at the pages. Page after page is nice and clean. Yep. All right, so one of the papers fell out. The staples, the top one looks a little bit on the rusty side, but not major. The bottom one looks nice and clean. So this book, the only major problem is that the cover's detached. The cover is not split. There are some of the tears and the pieces missing. But overall, I'm sorry, this is not a 0.5. And a lot of people are speculating that, well, you know, the inside may be disgusting and everything. And you saw the pages look absolutely clean. The inks are perfect. There are no stains. There's no ink marks. There is that signature on the first page, but that's not going to lower it to a 0.5. The front cover looks pretty attractive, even though it's a little faded. And the only major defect is right here. This piece is missing. That's not even a quarter of the book. So this book in a 0.5 is worth about $550. A 1.8 is around $900. So I would still say this book is about a 1.8. Now looking inside, probably a 2.0. There is no way this is a 0.5. So the people that were saying the nasty things and making all these false statements and everything, and they made the excuses of, well, maybe there's something inside. Well, if there was, CGC missed it. The only thing you guys saw was there was in red ink on the top of page 1 on the cover. Well, not on the cover, but on the first page, there was somebody's handwriting. Other than that, staples are intact. Like I said, the top one's a little rusty, but not major. It's not bleeding into the comic or anything like that. Bottom staple is perfect. Pages are all intact. No rips. No coupons cut. Looks really darn good. So I am definitely getting this regraded, and this is why I tell people all the time, the more you learn about your comics, especially learning about grading, the more you could find deals. Now, like I said, if this was a legit 0.5, I paid $410 for this book, which included shipping and handling. It was a newly listed book. I bought it within like the first 5 or 10 minutes it came out. It had a best, it started a bidding at $300, but a buy it now for $400. Because I knew what the price of this comic was worth, I didn't have to spend a lot of time trying to do research. I already knew, so I pounced on it. When I got this, I said there's no way that this is a 0.5. Now, John says, if you send it to CBCS or PGX, do you think it will come back at 2.0? It could, but the reason I won't send this to CBCS is I don't feel like waiting 6 months to get this back. With PGX, I will get this back in a month and a half at the latest. And like I said, I get these to protect them. But like I said, I also want fair grades. I don't want something that is misgraded. This is misgraded at a 0.5. Now, you could still have your right to your own opinion. just don't kill me because I have the right to mine. I don't understand that concept of the bully mentality that people have just because for some reason they don't like me. But you see it for yourself. I did this live on video. I cracked it open in front of you live. So there is no editing. There is nobody can say, oh, well, maybe they switched the comic. This is still the comic. Like I said, with the missing piece here, it's faded. It has the cover detached. So I'm not being deceitful. I'm not trying to make a video to get lots of views. I'm trying to show things how they are. And RS says a 1.8 is $1,800. So there you go. I paid $400 for this book. If it comes back a 1.8, that's a big jump. So, you know, like I said, eventually I will sell these. I have no intention of selling any of them now. But, you know, like I said, this is my third copy. I can use one of these as trade because eventually I want to get an Amazing Fantasy 15. And I have a lot of books in not high grade, but high desire. Like I have extra Fantastic 448s. I have extra Giant Size X-Men #1. I have extra, well, the Daredevil #1s. X-Men 94. I have books that I can combine to do a potential trade. So that's why I want to make sure I get the right grade for this. And if you don't research what you have, you know, like they say, knowledge is power. So the more you learn, the more you can not only protect yourself from mistakes, but end up profiting from somebody else's. I mean, this person should have cracked this open and got it regraded. They sold it as a 0.5, and they sold it to somebody who knows what they're doing when it comes to comics. I guarantee you this will not come back a 0.5. You saw it yourself. So I don't want to make this video too long. So at least, if anything, you got to see the book. You saw it live. You could see there was no doctoring, no tampering, no dishonesty just to get views. You now know how to crack open a slab because you saw it was relatively easy. I just wanted to take my time with it because, you know, what's the rush? And in another month and a half, this will be graded, and we'll see what it comes back as. So if you appreciate this, and even Brick said, thought there would be pages missing. Everything's intact inside. It looks great. And because if the pages would have been missing, CGC would have this a green label as qualified and would have to state that. So it looks like everything is completely intact. I showed the inside. The coupon, I mean, look at the condition. This is, and again, I'm holding it upside down, but all the pages are off-white to white. The colors are amazing. There's no bends. There's no rips in the pages. The centerfold is completely intact. And I'll show again right here. That's the centerfold. See, there's no bleeding into the paper. Looks great. So this is not going to come back a 9.8 or anything like that, but it will come back at least a 1.5 to a 2.0 range. So CGC got this one wrong, and that's okay, because like I've said, even though someone want to say I bash CGC, they made a mistake. Companies do that. That doesn't mean I'm telling people not to use CGC. I'm not saying I want them to go out of business. They're a horrible company. It's just a company made a mistake. Don't make it bigger than it is. So that is my video, and I'm sticking to it. If you appreciate what I do, please give it a thumbs up, show your support, hit the share button, let people know about this. Post this video on your social networks so they can see I'm not bashing CGC. I'm just one of those people that wants to make sure they get things right. I'm knowledgeable about what I speak about. I'm going to get this regraded, and we'll see in a month if I was right. If it comes back a 0.5, hey, then I'll get it, I'll take it, and it didn't cost me anything other than the price to ship it out to PGX. So I know many of you won't use them. I'm not them. I don't worry about what somebody else does or does not do. I only worry about what I do. So thank you very much. And Brick Hunter was kind enough to say to people to smash that like. I hope you do. I hope I earn your subscription. I hope you can see I'm a trustworthy person. I'm not trying to make videos where the camera all of a sudden disappears and a bait and switch could potentially happen. I made sure I did this live so people can't critique it. I showed inside the book so people can't say, oh, well, maybe this, maybe that. I don't deal in maybes. I don't deal in opinions. I deal in fact. And that's what you guys got to start doing. That's one of the reasons why all the problems in the news media that's going on lately, they base things on feelings and opinions instead of the facts. That's not investigative reporting. So you saw true investigative reporting about this comic. I don't want to hold this too much because I don't want to end up splitting the spine and making it a 0.5. But let's get today's surprise subscriber shout out because Brick Hunter was nice enough to say, come on people, smash that like. Brick Hunter, you are today's surprise subscriber shout out. This was the video opening the Daredevil #1. This is definitely not a 0.5. Hit the subscribe button, share this video. Let's see if I can get anything close to a viral video. To me, a viral video is over 1,200 views. Make it happen, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great night. And don't forget, it's not you, it's not I, it's We Love Comics. Peace out, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to spend it with me. See you next video.